This is a special edition of KHQ Local News. Right now, breaking down.
Because when we're not doing this, they're still shooting us in the back. They're still gunning us down at will.
And we are following some breaking news this afternoon. Thank you so much for being with us on this Sunday. I'm Dan Kleckner. Hundreds gathered for a protest in the name of Jacob Blake, who was shot by police in Kenosha, Wisconsin a week ago. Well, today's event started at 2 p.m. in Riverfront Park before protesters marched some 3 miles through downtown. KHQ's Noelle Lashley was at the event when it first started, and she joins us live now. Noelle.
Dan, I'm standing in front of Spokane City Hall where the event has just formally ended, but I'm going to step out of the way and point you to look over here. You can see a few people still standing around. A lot have scattered, though, again, as the event has formally ended. But it was summed up in very strong words by Spokane NAACP President Curtis Robinson, who said that he didn't want to have to be out here today. He is tired of being out here because every time this group gathers, he says that means that something like this has happened. At one point during the march, someone was starting the chant with "Say his name," and the people around them responded with several different names: George Floyd, Jacob Blake, Tyler Rambo. And they all stopped for a moment to talk to each other about this just keeps happening. The event also featured several speakers both before and after that march who are calling for even more change here in Spokane and across the nation.
My question is, why aren't they here?
Right.
The people that are going to make the change, the people that are going to hear our voice, the people that are supposed to speak on our behalf to make the change we're asking for. This is our community. We need something in writing. We need legislation. We need something, a bill, something to come up to say, here's what we're going to do.
Spokane City Council member Betsy Wilkerson was at the event today, even speaking for a few moments. But the people who were out at this march today say they want more, they need more, and they want to stop things like this from happening. They also want more change in our law enforcement system. Now, to our knowledge, there is another event coming up tonight starting at around 6 or so. So sometime in the next hour, there will be a vigil at the runner statues right next to me for Jacob Blake as well. And we will keep you updated as the evening goes on. But for now, reporting live in downtown Spokane, Noelle Lashley, KHQ Local News.
All right, Noelle, thank you. Continuing coverage of the protest, which has been peaceful today. In fact, only one incident of a counter-protester and Black Lives Matter protester interacting was witnessed.
You know, you can just walk on by and pretend that black people aren't being murdered.
Well, this short argument between the two sides eventually ended after other Black Lives Matter demonstrators began chanting at the counter-protester, and the counter-protester walked away. Prior to the start of the march, City of Spokane leaders and Spokane police released statements on social media asking for peace and saying criminal activity will not be permitted. SPD tweeted out a reminder to protest leaders and participants to remain peaceful and lawful so that your voices can be heard without infringing on the rights and liberties. Police to protect safety and property if peaceful assembly morphs into criminal activity. End quote. And yesterday morning, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward released a statement reading in part, quote, as protests turn violent in cities across the country and in our region, I am thankful that events in Spokane have remained peaceful since May 31st. I implore you to stay the course this weekend. Violence toward others and damage to property will not be tolerated. End quote. Well, so far, again, protesters have followed the plea from Spokane leaders and Spokane police as the protests remain peaceful. No one is more grateful than local business owners. Now, earlier in the summer, of course, some spent thousands of dollars boarding up windows to protect their property ahead of protests. But today, our Haley Gunther found a much different vibe. Haley?
Well, Dan, we've been making our way throughout the downtown core, checking in with different shops, businesses, restaurants, and they say they are so incredibly grateful that at least for now, things have stayed very peaceful. A lot of people stopping in here for a quick bite, people out shopping. They just say that they hope things can remain as they are now. Do you feel pretty good that things will stay peaceful?
Yeah, this is probably, I think this is the 4th protest to go by, and they've all been peaceful, and so we have no concerns, no need to board up the windows.
And it looks like, business is, you know, as usual,
Yep,
customers still
yep.
coming in, enjoying a meal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And hopefully a few people after the protest coming by too.
Dan, we're just a block or two away from that restaurant we just took you into, and you can see that there is fencing completely around the public safety building campus, and this is to set a clear boundary for where protesters are asked to keep back from. We just checked in with the sheriff. He says so far so good. Things are running smoothly. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Haley, thank you. And if there's anything such as good protest weather, Greg, I think today was the day.
Hey, Dan, I'm not going to complain. Temperatures in the 70s, really nice day to get outside overall. Winds right now coming out of the west-southwest, 16 miles per hour. Dew point normally not a problem by this time of the year. Your evening planner for tonight. 7 o'clock, we're remaining in the 70s by 9, and around 11 back down into the 60s with low temperatures tonight being in the 40s and 50s. Our almanac for today, a little bit closer to average, not quite there yet, 75 degrees, no precipitation whatsoever. Of course, we've been eyeing this number right here, 2/100ths of an inch of precipitation this month, nowhere near where we should be. Our futurecast starting tonight at 5 p.m. A few clouds start to fill in as we prepare for a little bit of rain overnight, mainly before 8 a.m. So a lot of the rain is sticking out towards the panhandle of Idaho, possibly even into Spokane, but I'd be surprised if we see any measurable amounts of rain come Monday. Monday evening, 6 p.m., clear skies, very calm conditions in central and eastern Washington as we get ready for a very, very nice day overall. Temperatures are projected to be in the 80s, so the mild pattern that we've been seeing over the past few days is eventually moving out of our way. Temperatures right now, as I said, not too bad in the Evergreen State. 74 degrees in Spokane, Kettle Falls at 81, Tri-Cities coming in at 82. Low temperatures overnight in the 40s and 50s, and high temperatures tomorrow very similar towards today, with areas being in the 70s and 80s. But as we go throughout the week, things are really going to start ramping up temperature-wise. 73 in Republic, 77 in Colville, Omak coming in at 81, Grand Coulee coming in at 81 too, Wenatchee at 82. Let's push out towards the east where temperatures are going to be a little bit on the cooler side for tomorrow, as that cold front has brought temperatures down into the 60s and 70s, pushing in towards Spokane, 73 degrees tomorrow. Same thing goes for Deer Park with a few clouds in sight. But check this out. Labor Day is going to be absolutely gorgeous. The center of the United States, not so much. We're talking temperatures the 50s and 60s as highs. But for the West Coast and the inland Northwest, we're projecting temperatures in the 90s, possibly even into the triple digits come Labor Day. So that's great news for us, Dan. All right, your planning forecast for Spokane. Cool temperatures tomorrow, and we're going to be in the 70s, bringing things up into the 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Not a cloud in sight, and we're even pushing into the 90s on Friday. Dan.
Looks pretty nice. Thank you, Greg. We will, of course, continue to bring you updated information on today's march right here on Facebook, KHQ.com, and during our special edition of KHQ Local News Prime Time right after the NHL playoffs. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.